Well, hello everybody. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, and this is Cart Chronicles. I know you guys are wondering, where is she? Here I am. I just want to come and let you guys know I'm still here. And I'm just coming in just to have a brief conversation with you. And I want you guys to know I think about you guys. I'm putting some things together. I'm fixing some things that are incorrect. And so I'll be back. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. You know, a lot of times I go on a sabbatical and then I come back. So give me a minute as I'm working through some things. But I just want to come and talk to you real quick about, I don't really know what the name is, so by the time you see it, it probably has a name. But I wanted to talk to you about what comes around goes around with a narcissist. You know, we've talked about the smear campaign, and one thing that a narcissist will always do is they always try to control the narrative. And so they make sure, remember, when they're talking to people, they make sure that they're laying out their narratives so that when you do certain things, they're predicting like what you're going to do, what you're going to say, so that when you do and say it, it makes you look like you're crazy. They know that you're going to go out and you're going to fight, or you're going to go and try to explain yourself, or you're going to, certain things that you're going to do that has been a habit for you. And so that's why it's important to change your habits, because one thing that a narcissist will do is when they think that their reputation is at stake, they go on overdrive to try to fix their relationship. They try to fix the narrative to fix the reputation. But you have to remember this. If you be quiet, you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to defend yourself. Let them talk. If they talk and they're destroying your job or messing with your money, that's a court case. That you could take, to court. But if they're not destroying your money, they're not messing with your money, it doesn't matter, because a lot of times people come out of the woodworks and you'll know the people that don't like them and are siding with you, that are neutral, but they start to pick up on the narcissist because they've been around them long enough. They begin to question their narrative. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to say anything, but they'll start questioning the narrative, because as long as they're around them, they start to see, especially overt narcissists that just pop off at the mouth all the time. You have to remember that they don't control, they don't regulate their moods. They have no sense of temperance, so they have no self-control. They talk a lot, especially when you're not saying anything. They start talking a lot to try to get people to talk and tell them what they're looking for. They want to know what you've said, or they assume that you've said something, or they assume that you're arguing back, or they assume. What they don't realize is that family and friends and people around them that get to know that, even their own family, they begin to talk about them. They get frustrated with them. A lot of them have anger issues. A lot of them are liars. They're compulsive liars. And people that have been around them long enough, because they get worse with time. They get worse with age. And so people that have been around them long enough, they begin to talk amongst each other. They start talking amongst each other, and people begin to say the same thing. They start thinking, there are some that are very similar to the narcissist. So those are flying monkeys, but there are people that are around them that pay attention to them long enough that begin to question the narrative about you, the old supply. They begin to question, because then they begin to see like, okay, the more they talk, the more I begin to realize that they're talking about themselves. So I wonder what this old supply was like. And you let them talk, because the more that people are around these narcissists, the ones that are talking about you, the ones that have hurt you, and you be quiet. You don't have to fight back. You don't have to have the last say. You don't have to have the last word. Just be quiet and be patient, because eventually their little world that they have created begins to collapse around them. People begin to talk about them, and people start saying the exact same thing. As people are starting to say the exact same thing, it's almost like being in a military ambush and you don't know where the bullets are coming from. And so what happens as they get older and they keep doing the same thing, and they're getting worse, and they have these temper tantrums, and they have these rage issues, and they begin to they're trying to put out these fires. So they don't know where the crossfire is coming from. They don't know where the bullets are coming from. And so what they end up doing is they run to everybody, assuming that a lot of the information is from you, a lot of the information from other people. So they're running themselves crazy, trying to correct the narrative, trying to fix the narrative. And as you listen to them, they're telling on themselves, because they go back to everything that they've ever done. Listen. If you ever want to know what they've done, everything that they've ever done, they try to tell people what they did not do. And they try to flip it to make it seem like it was your fault. Remember the projection? Remember the what's the word? Projection. Hold on, let me think of the word. Deflection. They deflect. They never take responsibility of what they've done. They never take accountability of what they've done. If they start to take accountability, you guarantee you, in the midst of them taking responsibility, they're going to flip it back around and deflect back because they don't want to look bad. And so they got family, they got friends that are getting tired of them. They got people around them, the new supply that they're with, they know, but a lot of them don't want to be bothered. You got family that comes around and they deflect their anger and their rage on the family members, and the new supply sits back and doesn't say anything because he or she is getting a break. And then when the family is not around anymore, they act a fool. They are embarrassing, and people begin to look and begin to question, is the old supply really that crazy? Because I'm starting to see things about this narcissist that really fits into the narrative of what they're saying about the old supply. Everything that they're starting to say, everything that they're beginning to see, they're beginning to question the reality. Just like you were questioning your reality, they begin to question the narcissist's reality. They begin to question the stories that they have told, because everything that they're saying about other people, the most unloyal narcissists, because they're not loyal to anyone, and everything they start saying about other people and how these people have done them so wrong, and they have done this right here, and they have did this right here, is usually them. It's always about what someone has done to them. They don't show you what they've done. It's like poking a bear, like you see on Facebook a lot of times. Poking the bear. And when that person finally retaliates, when that person finally goes off, it's like they turn on the camera so that you can see this person losing it, losing their mind, screaming and yelling. But what they didn't show is what was going on before that person actually reacted. And a lot of times people can't take it anymore. So they'll say things and they'll fight back. But by the time they say things and fight back, you're the one who looks crazy. They put the recording on, they post it, and people are getting smarter now because they ask what went on prior to the camera turning on. What was said and what was done prior to the camera turning on. And then you have a lot of people that are coming in saying, I was there and this is what happened prior to. So that's a good thing. So you have to remember, every battle is not meant for you to fight. Every battle is not yours. And I know it is heartbreaking. I know that it is embarrassing. I know that a lot of you that's a lie. They're telling a story, but that's my story. They done flipped it around to make it seem like it was my fault. When they're telling people all the things that I have done, that is actually what they have done. Listen, honey, it's a matter of time when things start falling apart. When people have been around this narcissist long enough and they begin to realize that the story that they're telling is actually what they've done and not what you've done. There is no reason for you to stress. There's no reason for you to concern yourself, because as time goes by, listen to me, as time goes by, people begin to realize that this narcissist is jacked up. They're not loyal to anybody. They talk about people behind their back. They smile in their face, backstabbers, and they talk about them behind their back. They talk about them behind their back. They're not loyal to anybody. They're not loyal to nobody. And they talk about people behind their back all the time. Then what happens is, what comes around goes around. Remember, people call it karma. The Bible says, do not be fooled. God will not be mocked. So what a man sowed, that is what they reap. They're going to reap the harvest. You plant seeds. If you plant corn, you're going to get corn. What do you expect? So if you plant seeds of deception and backstabbing and talking about folks, I promise you, exactly what they are doing to people is exactly what happens. They get around people that do the exact same thing that they do. But then all of a sudden is how horrible people treat them and all that I've ever done. Because remember, a lot of them are about making it rain. They try to buy friendship, buy people to be their friends, do things and they obligate you like you owe me. You owe me. You're obligated to me, But the one thing you can guarantee is that a lot of people that they attract are people that will stab them in the back too. So while they're stabbing and talking about them, there are people out there that are talking about them too. And that's their little chaotic world. So what I'm telling you is what comes around goes around. They always try to control the narrative, but it comes back to bite them, and they frantically trying to fix their reputation. It's driving them crazy. That's what happens with a narcissist. Be at peace. You ain't got to argue everything.